I guess the silver lining behind this whole absolute disaster is the fact that, every teacher I have now since March, regardless of what their level of capacity was technologically, has increased exponentially.
Jake, thank you so much for joining me here today. You have opened a school in these trying times, and I appreciate you so much sharing your experience with us. Before you get into it, can you just tell us a little bit about your background, what your role is, your school, and everything that your school is currently right now?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm delighted to be with you. Thanks for having me. I do appreciate it. I am on my 31st year in education. I've been an administrator in public schools for 28 of those 31 years. This is my 9.5 year at this particular junior high, Katy Junior High here in Katy, Texas. And I've been elementary through high school administrator. Uh, I've done it all. I'm just kind of working my way back through, I guess.
Well, we really appreciate your dedication, your service, and all those years. Definitely something that I am very, proud of, respectful of all those people who've been here for so long. So thank you so much. And I think that that's going to be very important for our conversation today is understanding the type of leadership and decision making that goes into reopening schools. So, can you just tell us a little bit about that decision making process about reopening your school for in person instruction, what that looks like, and how you did it successfully?
Absolutely. Well, basically, I'm not my own entity. I'm a part of a very large school district outside of Houston, Texas, and no decisions I make are made in a vacuum. The district looked very carefully at federal, state, local guidelines and determined that we wanted to open up schools face to face. We did go for a while intermittent. I can't remember, about 4 to 6 weeks. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while, uh, but we did have intermittent for a while to kind of prepare for face to face, and we've always given parents the choice. This year is we got to be very flexible. Situational leadership is critical, uh, and no matter who you are or where you're from, we're all facing the same animal, and it's a very unknown. So basically, I'm very proud that our district did offer this choice. And as the year has progressed, our population of face-to-face students has grown. We're currently at 80% of our population being back, which I'm proud to say is the highest percentage of junior high students in the district. So, uh, it presents its challenges, but we follow the protocols. We do the absolute best we can, adhering to the guidelines, so on and so forth. And we have problems and challenges, spikes, just like everybody else, but we offer a pure KVA to a very select few, 20%. We have some blended classes, but we're mostly face to face, thank goodness.
Okay, so you've got a pretty flexible system going in place. You've got some choice. And so, two questions. One, can you tell us a little bit more about your district, the size, the demographics? And then two, when you say we've been following protocols and some of these mitigation efforts, can you just say more specifically what some of those ones that have proven to be the most successful are?
Okay, sure. Size of the district, we're over 85,000 students.
Okay, so that's pretty
Like I
big.
said, very, very large district here in Texas. And I would like to also add a nationally acclaimed school district. We get very good results with our students. Our demographics we're quite a diverse district. There are certain pockets of the district that serve more of a homogeneous demographic. My particular side of the district serves a pretty heterogeneous group. My particular campus, we are about 45 50% free and reduced. It changes
Yeah.
every day, uh, certainly every year. But we're a minority majority campus, predominantly Hispanic, followed by Anglo, African American, then some other mixed in. And as far as the district is concerned, we're predominantly Anglo, but that gap's closing. The Hispanic population in Texas is growing exponentially, so that impacts, of course, all the districts certainly in this region. So, but anyway, in terms of mitigation, we have we're very transparent as a district about how we're doing things. In fact, anybody out there listening could go onto the KDISD website, look at the COVID tile, and basically press on any school in the district and find out exactly how many students, staff members, and auxiliary staff members are currently COVID positive. And we keep that updated every 24 hours.
Okay, that's great. That transparency is definitely something that we are looking for and seems to be a real key, and especially in places where lack of leadership, we need that transparency so we can have the trust.
Well, and I think that's the whole thing. We want our parents to make the right decisions for them. I can't make decisions for parents who have, if it were my world, every kid that we have would be in school, because that's the best way to teach kids is face to face. We're not in college. We're not there yet. Not that some students are incapable of that, but I think it's just more effective. There's more relationship building and the like. But again, I don't know the circumstances behind 20% of the population that's not here. Some of them have elderly folks at home. Some of them have sick parents. Some of them have conditions themselves. So I certainly do not begrudge them, and we're going to accommodate and serve them to the absolute best of our ability. But in a perfect world, I want to just get back to normal.
Yeah, I definitely am with you, but we very much appreciate the choice, and we think that that is the best thing for families at this time. Now, in terms of teachers, that obviously presents another set of difficulties, juggling already so much that we had now before, and now we have some kids who are here, some kids who aren't there. So what are some ways that you are supporting your teachers and making sure that they really have the resources and the tools and the guidance to be able to navigate this new landscape?
Right. Well, one of the things that I guess the silver lining behind this whole absolute disaster is the fact that, every teacher I have now since March, regardless of what their level of capacity was technologically, has increased exponentially, which is a good thing, because basically we're competing for students' attention with technology anyway. So we may as well learn as much as we can about it. So the format that we use for instruction via Intermittent or Canvas, which is our online, it's Canvas, which is our KVA. It's our online,
Yep.
excuse me. And like I said, our teachers have really had to, some of them have really had to stretch technologically. And that's, we've given them the training, we've given them the time. We went intermittent for so long so that we could get really comfortable and help them, face to face, teacher wise.
So when you say intermittent, does that mean like some days kids were fully virtual so you could have more teacher training? What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean, that's how some districts perceive it, how some districts do it. What we did, I think it was the first 4 weeks of school, everybody was virtual.
Okay.
So we called that intermittent.
Okay.
And then we knew that there was going to be an end date to that, so that we prepared for any and all who were going to be back face to face to come back. And interestingly enough, we did a survey last year at the end of the year, because COVID started last year.
Yeah.
And, okay, who's going to come back? Who's going to stay home? And it was about 50-50. And interestingly enough, when the year started, it was about 50-50 face-to-face KVA after the 4 months of intermittent where everybody was online. So that gave us an opportunity to get the teachers a little bit more comfortable with the technology, so to speak, without having kids right in front of them 7 periods a day. And in terms of other resources, like I said, there's all kinds of resources out there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are online resources. We're very fortunate. We're in a wealthy school district, and teachers don't do without in terms of things that they need to accommodate. The biggest challenge any district is going to face is technology. Yeah. It's the one-to-one stuff, and we're not a one-to-one district, but we've got pockets of students who we're just as concerned about as other school districts like us, and just any other school district. If you've got a student who's at home for some reason and can't be here, but doesn't have access to Wi-Fi, doesn't have technology tools, then what do you do? And that was some of the challenges that we faced, and we've worked our way through those to the best we can. But in terms of, like you said, resources, the district's very, very generous in terms of what they allow. In fact, during intermittent, if you had students who were school age and you had to be at school, because all of our teachers did, you could bring those school age kids with you to
Okay.
make it easier, and so that you could deal with your students online KVA while your own children, you have an eye on them and you can kind of monitor their work.
Nice. And I really do think it's those types of flexible and creative solutions that are not only going to get us through this time, but are really going to set us up to move forward in a strong place. Like, we shouldn't just be making changes now that address issues that we're facing due to COVID, but we should address them in a way that's going to move us forward past this.
Right.
And so that's what I wanted to ask you to round this out is, what is the message that you have for other administrators in particular who are going to be leading their staff and their teachers and their communities into this reopening, into the reopening?
Well, what I would say is that number one, you just have to maintain flexibility because unlike non-pandemic school days, every day as a principal, when I go into my workplace, I have my schedule, so to speak, and rarely do I stick with that schedule because life happens. And beyond a normal, quote unquote, school year, we're dealing with pandemic, with COVID, and we've got kids getting sick, parents getting sick, kids getting pulling in and out. And if you test positive, you got to be out for X number of days. So again, the key is to just take a deep breath, relax, and just be willing to be flexible and do the very best you can. I mean, that's all parents and students want us to do, is the absolute very best we can. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have to do a lot of pivoting. That's the key word here in Katy ISD. I don't know if it fits the rest of the world, but we've used it a lot here in Katy, and we've done a lot of pivoting. And if you have that attitude, you're going to make it. And what I would also encourage is talk to folks around you who have opened up, who have gone through all the pains of reopening, to get some pointers, some ideas, some of the pitfalls, and some of the ideas of things that made it a lot easier, and that they learned through trial and error that this works and such doesn't. So just talk to people, network.
Yeah, and I know that people can definitely reach out to you if they have any questions. We're gonna hook them up with your Twitter handle and any other social media or email like
Absolutely.
that. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Jake. We really appreciate it. And best of luck with your school for the rest of this year.
Appreciate it, Stephanie. Thank you. You have a great day too. Happy New Year to everyone out there. God bless, and good luck in the second semester.